The Bachelorette is a pretty popular show. A lot of people watch it because they want to see a woman find love. In order to do this, she must date many male contestants who are bachelors. This season, number 14, features a bachelorette by the name of Becca Kufrin. For those of you who follow Becca's story, you might know her as a woman who was chosen by a bachelor named Ari to be his wife. But Ari actually turned her down at the last minute during a ceremony. So this episode of Ruining Your Faves is going to focus on episode 2 of The Bachelorette. I know I'm behind because we're on episode 3 now within the show, but just bear with us. And I've always had a problem with The Bachelorette and even The Bachelor, its accompanying show, because it deals with a person that has to find love right away out of this pool of people. Like, what if you don't click with everybody? What if you don't click with anybody? Is this a true representation of how love is supposed to be? America. So in episode 2 of The Bachelorette, in which Becca has many men fighting to gain her love, she has them compete in a challenge. This challenge requires the men to have a lot of physical strength and durability and agility in order to get through an obstacle course. This obstacle course requires the men to climb stairs and travel through mud and carry large structures. What I found interesting is what a sales trainer named Chris, who's one of the contestants, said about 2 of the other contestants who were competing in this event. Chris, who is white, pointed out 2 of the black individuals competing against him. These 2 black contestants were named Clay and Lincoln. Clay was actually a professional football player, and Lincoln was described by Chris as being very chiseled and strong. However, Chris said that it might not be strength, but smarts or intelligence that helped the men get through the challenge. When I first heard this comment, I thought to myself, so you can't be athletic and smart? I mean, let's look at Richard Sherman, who plays for the NFL. He went to Stanford University and got a pretty good grade point average. And even more so, I found that student athletes at community colleges perform better than non-student athletes when it comes to GPA, their credits earned, and the degrees they obtain. So what's up with this you can't be athletic and smart scenario? And the reason why I pointed out that Chris was white and the 2 individuals that he described are black is because I wanted to highlight this whole stereotyping. Yes, it is true that African American individuals in colleges in the United States tend to suffer when it comes to academia, and they end up dropping out of school faster than any other group. But there was another report talking about how black women actually do achieve and get more high degrees than any other group in America. So we're going to have to focus on the black males with this one. Yes, it is true that black male student athletes end up suffering when they go to colleges. A lot of this has to do with the stereotypes that they come across while they're in school. In fact, many black males that enter college rely more on athletics than their academics in order to get them through school and get them a high salary when they get an occupation outside of school. A lot of times, black male student athletes are judged, and they are thought of as being less interested in class, less likely to succeed, and not very smart. I know you've all heard the dumb jock scenario where the guy is good at sports, but dumb when it comes to the books. As a result of these negative stereotypes, a lot of black male student athletes decide, okay, I'm just gonna fit the mold and I won't do well in class. In fact, it's believed that the African American community in general does not value education or going into academia because they don't want to be thought of as white. And if you want to know why a lot of blacks don't want to be considered white, just check out the history of slavery in America. Some other scholars argue that because of the negative environment that a lot of black male student athletes are subject to when they go to college, that's what makes them not want to do well in classes and not want to do well academically. And this is what we call stereotype threat. Now, a stereotype threat is when a group is thought of as a certain way. So they're thought of as having certain characteristics. I know you've heard the stereotypes before of Asians being very smart or blacks being very athletic or good dancers. So that's pretty much stereotype threat. And when you're thought of as having this stereotype, you try to fit into the mold. Except we're focusing on negative stereotypes here. So with stereotype threat, a lot of people feel they need to conform to these certain behaviors or certain attributes that they're told they're supposed to have. When you have black male student athletes told that they're not very intelligent and they're only good for athletics, they're going to reflect that. So they're not going to do good on tests, they're not going to do good in school, and they're not going to value their education. So the question is, how do we conquer these negative stereotypes? Well, some scholars have found that some black individuals practice what's called stereotype management. Now, stereotype management is pretty much when a person looks at the negative attributes that their group has or that their group is thought to have, and they say, you know what, I'm going to fight against that. I'm not going to be that individual. So you'll have black male student athletes that go through their schooling and they say, I'm going to do good in my academics because I know I can and because people think I can't. Also, there has been some proof that black individuals who have a strong racial identity end up doing good in academics when they're athletes as well. So if Black or African American individuals know their culture and they know where they come from, they're more likely to succeed. Also, schools can do a better job at helping these Black student athletes out as well. When you see a Black male student athlete struggling, you can offer them tutoring services, or you can offer them emotional comfort or emotional support. And that pretty much wraps it up for this whole athletes not being intelligent. So yes, there are intelligent athletes out there. I mean, we have Shaq, who got his degree and he's an NBA player or retired NBA player, and we have countless other examples. So Chris, you're wrong on that one. Anyways, that wraps it up for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Chemistry Productions.